What's going on, guys? It is Kyle again with DTOM Knives and Gear, and today we are going to be talking about this beauty. This is the CJRB Centros. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back, everybody. This is a super exciting video for me. A few weeks back, ordered a couple of CJRB knives. This one is the Centros. You might have seen the unboxing of this guy and the full review of the CJRB Felspar. These are two knives that have been making a lot of waves in the EDC knife community. And excuse me while I adjust this thing. I don't know why my thing's all moving around. I was very excited to get them in hand to find out if the hype is all that it's cracked up to be. So I got these two knives in and I started to carry them, and wow, been very, very impressed. CJRB is the budget line of Artisan Cutlery, and Artisan Cutlery makes very, very high quality knives. I have really been wanting one of their models, the Artisan Cutlery models that I am going to get, so I'll keep it as a surprise for you. But they make quite a few models that I'm very, very interested in, but I've never had any of the Artisan Cutlery models. These are my first two CJRBs, and from what I've seen from these two knives, man, am I impressed. This one is we'll go ahead and just talk about the materials. D2 steel with G10 handles and steel liners. It is a liner lock. Just very, very well made, just feels sturdy. The action on this thing is, I really, really am impressed with the action. This reminds me just kind of like the Felspar on a thumb stud knife of the TRM Atom. And that thing is, the TRM Atom is on phosphor bronze washers, and this is running on bearings. Now, unlike the Felspar, this one is super smooth. The Felspar was good, and the action was great, but I could feel just a little bit of grittiness when I was moving it slowly back to hit the detent, which the detent is awesome, by the way. But I don't on this guy, so I'm really impressed. It does come in quite a few different colors. This is the green G10, which I really dig. It does come with a deep carry pocket clip. However, you've got this little bit here sticking up, which is not a big deal for me at all. I don't mind that. Some people it might, but the pocket clip works very, very well, goes in and out of pocket like a dream. D2 steel with a spear point blade. I love this blade shape. This blade shape has been great. Very thin profile blade with a kind of like it's a flat grind. I would call this more of a saber grind, but just really, really freaking super sharp out of the box too. Like crazy slicer. We're going to go ahead and see what this thing is behind the edge. So as you can see, about 20 thousandths behind the edge. So really thin, really good slicer. I was highly impressed on the cutting abilities of this knife. Really, really excited. Now, one other thing I do like about this one is you can see there, one of the barrel spacers has a hole in it, and that's where your lanyard goes for you lanyard guys. So you definitely still have that option. I don't have lanyards on a lot of knives, but there are some that I do, and I really actually like that option a lot more than just the big hole that goes in most knives. So digging that. This particular knife is, we'll go ahead and do the specs first, and then we will do some size comparison to some of the other budget knives and some of the staples that we've got. This thing is 8.5 inches long, so it is a full-size knife. It has a blade length of 3.625. The blade width is 1 inch. The blade thickness is 125 thousandths. So 125 thousandths is relatively thin. I really like that. Very comparable to some of the Spydercos, your regular Spydercos, which we'll bring out in a second. So really digging it. So speaking of that, let's see what the blade thickness is on the PM2. So 132, so it's actually thinner than that. So that's pretty nice. Now, as far as the size-wise, you can see they're very comparable. The Centros coming in just a little bit longer, so definitely a full-size knife. And then we have our PM3 there, or Para 3, excuse me. So you can see very, very I think it's a good size. Now, if you think the PM2 is a big knife, then you're also going to think this one is. I think these are normal primary knife sizes. But remember, I've got huge hands, so that's for me. The Para 3 fits my hand well, but barely. You know, I can get up on this guy, but with the skinny mod that Scott did for me over at excuse me, Big Bore Knife and Gear, this thing is really rocking my hand now. I dig this a lot. Anyway, check out my video on the skinny mod there. Some of the other knives that I have really been raving about as far as on the budget spectrum is the Ontario Rat 1 and the Ontario Rat number 2. Now, as you can see, the Rat 1 and the Centros are pretty similar as far as size. You've got a little bit thinner of a profile. They're both in D2 steel and G10 handles with steel liners and a liner lock. So very, very comparable knives. And, you know, as far as the Ontario Rat number 2, this is, you know, just a smaller version. Great little knife. Just doesn't feel the need for my full-size primary knife. But these two do. And I gotta be honest, this is a knife that I recommend to everybody if they're on a budget and they want a good knife to grab this guy. Well, they're about to get, the Rat is about to get knocked out by the CJRB offerings that I have, the Feldspar and the Centros, because dang, for $35, $35, folks, that's what this cost. I think it's anywhere between $35 and $39. So under $40. Same deal with this one. And I just can't get over how surprised I was on how good it feels in the hand. Just the quality that I feel from this knife is just I can't state enough how much this feels like such a quality knife, and it does not feel like a $35 knife. I said the same thing for the Ontario Rat number 1. The ergonomics on the Rat are just maybe a tad better, but that's for my hand size. The ergonomics on this guy is good too. The jimping is well done. It's just a little thinner in this profile. So if you have smaller hands, it's definitely gonna, but I mean, don't get me wrong, it's comfortable. It's just with my big old hands, whenever I have a thinner profile knife, it is not as comfortable in hand for me as it is for something a little bit thicker, a little bit wider. It's, you know, about normal as far as the size. So, you know, a little over a ½ inch thick there. The Ontario Rat is right at a ½ inch. But see, the difference is this way. That's what fills the hand for me, is the thickness this way. So very slim profile, very good in and out of the pocket. You hardly notice that this thing is there. Let's go ahead and get a weight on this guy. And you will see, I mean, it's not the lightest knife in the world. So right at 4 ounces. And, you know, you've got a, 3.625 inch blade. So not bad as far as ratios, in my opinion. So now, like I said, ergonomic, I really feel there's a choil there, but it's not a finger choil. You can't choke up. But feeling this thing in hand and squeezing down, I don't feel any hot spots. The pocket clip is done brilliantly. I noticed that on the Feldspar, which is right here, that I could kind of feel in hand. With this design, these are contoured G10 handles, which I absolutely love on this knife. We will be doing a comparison of these two, just so you know, later. This knife is so comfortable in hand. I can barely feel that little bit of a raised up on that portion of the pocket clip on the Feldspar. Jeez. Oh, earthquake. Just kidding. Hit the camera. And on this one, I can feel it just a little. It's about the same. Because they don't cause hot spots at all. You can feel the pocket clip, but they really don't. Not in my hands anyway. They're fat hands, so if you have bony hands, maybe, I don't know. But anyway, as far as the grip that I usually use, which is a saber grip here, fits really well. The hammer grip also, if you are going to do the reverse grip, feels comfortable there. So no jimping other than on the blade. The edges are chamfered all the way around on the G10. So just really comfortable, really well done. I really was so surprised. I keep saying that, but man, everybody was talking about them. And so I was like, okay, well, let me try it. I just didn't really believe the hype. Well, I'm sold now. So when people come to me and ask, say, look, man, I got less than $50 to spend on a knife, but I need a good one. I still am going to recommend the Ontario Rat number 1, but the CJRB line, I can't not tell people about these two knives. Like I said, we're going to do a comparison, but Contour G10 on the Felspar, the blade shape on the Centros and the action, these things are great. So, as far as the spear point, I don't have any blades in the spear point. So if you look, if I can get to focus, the tip is about normal. I mean, it's not too thin. It's not too thick. I mean, obviously you don't do any prying with knives, but this is definitely a piercer, and it cuts beautifully, just absolutely beautifully. I mean, the regular stuff that I open up on a daily basis, packages and cutting through cardboard, it flew through it like it was nothing. So definitely, I mean, it's $35. I mean, you could hard use this thing, and if you break it, it's $35, but you're not going to break it. I just don't feel like it's sturdy and strong enough that it's just not going to break. Now, the difference between this one and the Ontario Rat number 1 is this one is running on bearings. So you got to take that for what it's worth. I usually like a work knife to run on phosphor bronze, but the bearings on this thing are super smooth. It's not a drop shut, but it doesn't take much effort to get this thing down. So really, really nice. I can't really get over the action. Like I'm seriously, if you were to put this in my hand and say, flick that thumb stud and put this and the Atom in my hand, I mean, it really does feel about the same. And that just surprised the heck out of me. So really, really happy about that. So guys, there's really not much else to say other than if you're thinking about buying CJRB, I would definitely recommend this knife to check out, especially if you like the overall size. Not many people do. I know they make a smaller version of the Felspar. I'm not sure if they make a smaller version of the Centros. So if you have smaller hands, you might go that route. Maybe one of these days I'll get the smaller version. I just don't tend to because my hands are big and I tend to like the longer knives. So the only other one that I always recommend is the Spyderco Tenacious. And as far as these two are concerned, I love Spyderco. I have a special place in my heart for this guy. It's running brass or copper scales because this is my first knife. I'm never going to get rid of it. But I don't know if I could really recommend the Tenacious over one of these CRJBs. It's just, as much as I love the Tenacious, if I was being honest, one of those two knives would be above the Tenacious on a budget knife. It's just, I never thought I'd say that, but here I am saying it. Guys, if you like this kind of stuff, please stay tuned. I got a lot more coming. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. I do giveaways once a month. So if you hit that notification bell, you'll be notified whenever I do a giveaway so you can win some cool stuff, some cool gear. Congratulations to the winners of my last giveaway. Guys, I really appreciate you. Guys, if you also see the stickers on my table here, go check out Bearded Gear. Jake is a wonderful guy over there who has just been killing it on YouTube. Does such great content. Go check him out. And then, of course, always go check out Big Bore Knife and Gear. Scott over there has just been such a big support to me. And we're busting out the awesome anno job he did again with this Kaiser Sheepdog. Freaking, this knife was one of the first ones that I bought when I got back into collecting, and it was just plain titanium handles. And I didn't even know if I was going to keep it, but he asked for me to send some stuff over to him. He did this for me. This is my forever knife. This is my favorite knife now because of his anno job. So anyway, Flame Anno, the clip, I mean, just freaking awesome. So go check out Scott over at Big Bore Knife and Gear. Also check out his Instagram because he also posts a lot of the stuff that he does to the knives, like the anodization on Instagram. So anyways, you probably clicked off the video, but guys, I love you. I appreciate every one of you. Stay tuned for more, and we will see you in the next